Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Richie Hicks Jr. Sports Podcast here on Facebook and YouTube. I am your host, Richie, here with my main man, Mr. Idris Salam, aka Bosco from the Bronx.
What's up, y'all? Before we get the show started, I want to say a rest in peace to Neil Sedaka, one of my favorite artists when I was coming up as a kid. Laughter in the Rain. That was one of the songs that made me learn about love. I don't know why, but I always thought that was a sweet song. And here I'm 40, 50 years later after it came out, and I still love it. Rest in peace, Neil Sedaka, another New Yorker. I got to give praise to my New Yorkers. Salute.
Yeah, man. More your gen. I did participate in something musically that was inspired by Neil Sedaka, but this is going like way back, like elementary type era.
Yeah, he
But
doesn't know that back.
what is it, man? It seems like I know every year people feel this way, but it seems like this particular year, so early
Mm.
into the year, a lot of iconic people, unfortunately, have been leaving us.
And think about it, his birthday was in 2 weeks, man. He has been 90 years old. I think it's 90. Oh, and they said I was reading up about him, and they said the day before he passed away, he was doing fine, and then he went to the hospital because he wasn't feeling well. And late he died just died later that day, just out of the blue, you know.
Very unfortunate to hear that. I actually found out about 5, 10 minutes before we went live. Idris was the one who broke that to me. Um, and to your point, you said, "Oh, you're feeling great just before." So it just goes to show you guys and girls, to the best of all our abilities, we got to take and make the best out of each and every day because you really never know.
Exactly.
And speaking of never knowing, I got to share a little story with the viewers here. My girl, very scary situation
Oh,
that happened here at my house recently. Sorry, Jen, I'm gonna put your business out just a little. But my girl is awaiting to have a hysterectomy done in the near future, and as many of you ladies know, I'm sure that leading up to it, the fibroids tend to be a painful situation. Jennifer wants to get checked out. It turned into a mini surgery, not a hysterectomy. And I am so very thankful that
mhm.
I made sure that she did not go to sleep in a
Right.
different room. I requested that she hung out in the living room so I could keep an eye on her within 90 minutes or so. Very bad chills. She took her temperature. We had to wake up the little guy. We ran
Mhm.
her back to the hospital. Long story short, after a lot of heavy breathing on my end, I tried to play it cool. Come to find out that they wanted to keep her to protect her from potentially going septic.
Right.
And it looks like she'll be coming home tomorrow, thank God. Very thankful for that. But
Mm-hmm.
it just goes to show you, and this is another thing, and I always say this to my little man, I say it to anybody who cares to listen to me. Always go with your gut. I know it sounds super cliche, but if it were not for that, and if it was not for me forcing myself to stay awake, because believe me, I was exhausted, I don't know if it would be the same kind of conversation with regard to this matter. So that's all I got, man. Definitely an emotional 48 hours for me and a lot of other people as well. But shouts out to Jen's family. They're taking care of Noah. Noah was able to glom my PlayStation for a few days. He has got the gift of gab and is always able to get his way. And yes, my kid is spoiled. Uh, but
Yeah,
very thankful, very humbly thankful. That's all I want to say.
yeah. When Richie told me he gave up the PlayStation, I thought he was crazy. Because as fellas, our game console is like a girlfriend we can't let go of. It's
And,
hard.
and and what's funny about that is I literally right now only play one game, MLB The Show, and
But hey,
my season's heating up. I'm like in the stretch run, and I was like kind of looking forward to be like, yeah, tomorrow after work, I'm gonna put my legs up and get on this show, have a few brews, da 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 da. Noah smashed that out quick.
Yeah, I feel for you, bro. Because if I walked in the house and my PlayStation was over here, of all the stuff I got in this house, I would probably I would lose my mind. I would lose my mind, even if I loaned it to somebody. I would flip.
And it's funny because while I've always taken pride over the years in saying that no woman ever had me wrapped around her finger, I must admit there is a 9-year-old boy who does.
And let's see, y'all. I met that boy a couple of times, and he's a special child, and I don't mean special and retarded. I mean that kid is. He's like, what's that? A box of chocolates. You don't know what you're gonna get, but you know
Yeah,
you're
no,
gonna get
he
something.
is no, he's a
You gonna get
character,
something.
bro. He is
Yeah, I like my little brother,
truly
man.
truly a character. Funny dude. But why are
Yeah.
we here tonight? We're gonna talk about the NFL. A lot of
Yeah.
happenings going on ahead of next month, which is one of my favorite times here on the podcast because it's draft season. But we got David Montgomery traded to the Houston Texans for a player and draft picks. Obviously, Montgomery is the main player in this
Mhm.
deal. He joins a Houston backfield that underachieved last year. Nick Chubb, definitely not the player last year. He was in Cleveland, coming off his own personal scary injury. Joe
Right.
Mixon was not able to get on the field. I imagine he will be going into the free agency pool as well. And no one else legitimately jumped off the page for Houston. Do you feel that this is David Montgomery's backfield, or do you think it's going to be a 1-2 kind of situation, even though Monty should be getting more of the feature?
I think it'll be. I still think it'll be more 1-2. I think it'll still be just like Jameer Gibbs and Montgomery, but I think Montgomery will be the feature back. Um, I don't think. I mean, you spoke about this offline. I don't think he'll have the success he had in Detroit. Because Detroit had a pretty good offensive line, and you had Jameer Gibbs, who was that other. He was that lightning, you know. So I know when we had our three-headed backfield, when we lost
Yes.
one of them, the running went down such, and who I think Ward is the one that went somewhere else and wasn't a success. So just because when you're a power back, and anyone who knows football, when you're a power back, there's very few power backs that were feature backs. Earl Campbell was, George Rogers was. You can go through guys like that, but this is a whole different game than compared to how it was back then. So right now, you need your running back to have that speed, zoom, 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 that that lateral that lateral movement. The power back is mainly the guy who like we need you to get a yard or two. We need you to they don't use that power back as a feature back. You
Yes.
know,
Yes. And I share your sentiments on this. I want him to succeed
oh yeah,
because in
I like
terms of a human being, David Montgomery is just top tier class. A real
guy.
gentleman, one of the
Oh
real
yeah,
good guys that plays professional football. And
hmm
to be frank with you, I also like the player that he's not going to be playing with anymore. Jameer Gibbs, also a very classy dude.
yeah.
Um, Houston does get a gamer though. Montgomery has always been the kind of guy that seems to show up when he's most needed, but I do believe that when you're not going to be able to give teams the same kind of output because of the talents of Montgomery and Gibbs. I think not sharing the backfield with Gibbs, and even though he might get more carries, it's not going to necessarily line up for Montgomery putting up monster numbers. However, it is a more than adequate replacement because they
Mhm.
were hoping that Nick Chubb could somewhat emulate what Joe Mixon brought this backfield, and he failed miserably at that. And I'm not putting that on Nick Chubb. There were a lot of
Yeah.
other variables. This team had a lot of injuries this past year, particularly to the wide receiver room, and it really depleted what head coach D'Amico Ryans and his staff was able to deploy on offense. And I'll be honest with you, we've
Mhm.
we've been very critical of this here on the show. We are
Mhm.
not the biggest believers, at least Idris and myself are not, and I probably could speak for Zappy too. I haven't really talked to Shed or Brett about this, but
Yeah.
CJ Stroud, we are not the biggest believers in.
Yeah, I agree. I know Zappy had mentioned it, and I believe Shed did too in our little chat. Yeah, when he came out of college, I didn't rate him coming out of college. He just went somebody I missed. I just forgot him. But his first year, I was like, okay, he might break the mold of Ohio State quarterback. Because he had a real good first year. Okay, yeah. But he fell off, man. Let's
Yes,
just cut.
indeed.
He doesn't look like he's looking like the Ohio State quarterbacks that I said. Ohio State, Florida, USC, Oklahoma. These are the quarterbacks when they come into the league. They either struggle or they crash and burn. And he's starting to look like that quarterback. I hope not because he's a good kid. CJ Stroud's a real good guy.
One of
God
the
fearing guy.
few, one of the
Yeah.
few that Florida would want to claim, but he was only there for a little bit of his college journey, would be
Mm-hmm.
retired quarterback, former league MVP Cam Newton.
Cam Newton. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he went to UF briefly, and then he made the transfer. Of course, Cam
Mhm.
Ward goes to Miami, but
Yeah.
it's not just centered specifically on one university. We're kind of talking about the big three in Florida in general.
Right. They just don't come
So
out. They just don't
yes,
come out of
indeed. Tim Tebow had his, you know, remarkable run in his rookie year, but that was the end of it. Now,
That
I
was
will
it.
go as far as saying this. Um, Number one, Ryan Clark didn't play in that game because of the altitude,
Yeah.
and the
I mean,
late
right.
Demarius Thomas was able to get behind the defense. If Ryan Clark is on the field, does that happen? I don't know, but
It did
it's
not.
worth mentioning.
Yeah.
And well, shouts out to Demarius Thomas. He was a very clutch player in his day. Rest in peace. But also, if Peyton Manning wasn't on the market, would Tim Tebow have a year two in Denver? I'm going to say
No.
maybe, but I know that John Elway was never a fan.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't.
The one intangible that I will always give credit to Tim Tebow and players like him, they
Mm-hmm.
have the intangible of finding a way to win and motivating their fellow teammates. That's something that Tebow always had. So I'm going to give him that. But from a skill-based standpoint, he was
Yeah.
a massive beneficiary of having five-star athletes all over the place.
And that's the thing with a lot of these quarterbacks, and I don't want to turn it to the college game, but that's why Alabama is another one where I say they don't put out good quarterbacks.
Bro,
Joe.
Jalen
Yeah.
Hurts to a level, but he's kind of people are
Yeah.
questioning if his great Super Bowl performance was a bit of an anomaly, and also, the way they've been changing coordinators. I don't believe in putting that solely on one player
Right.
because Barkley had an off year too.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but Hurts has never been on top of his profession in the same light that Saquon Barkley is. I get it. He's a former Super Bowl MVP, and he earned it. I'm not going to take that away from him. In a 3-hour game, he earned it. He
Right.
played a phenomenal game. And if
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna, and the oddity of this is that if you take it back to a couple of years prior when they lost that first matchup with the Chiefs, if the Eagles would have won, Hurts would have been the MVP of that game as well. And I do think that they did get jobbed on the fumble face mask hold kind of deal.
Oh man. Yeah. Yeah. I
You
think it
know,
hurts, and I'm not. And
I
I
will
want to.
admit that, and we hate the Eagles on this show, but I'm just keeping it honest.
Yeah, and I'm not taking a shit on Hurts. I think Hurts is a good quarterback. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's no scrub of the people that came out of Alabama, other than Joe Namath. Joe Namath, if you go by his number, he was maybe average at best. But then again, he played in a whole different era. But Hurts is a good quarterback. I won't call him great because he doesn't excel like a great quarterback. He gets it done. So
Yes, sir.
I'm not gonna say he's a scrub. He's not a scrub. But I'm saying, and he's a second round draft pick, so I'm not going to put him on that first round pick where I say, okay, he's supposed to
Yeah,
impress.
because this is another guy once again that went to multiple schools.
Right.
Because people that remember the story, it was he and Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah. And he just had a bad first half and they sat him, which I still think it was unfair. But they won a national championship from it. But like I said,
Yes, indeed. Yes,
I'm not
indeed.
calling him a scrub at all. I think Hurts is above good. I think he's between good and great. I think he can get
I,
better. And I say so many coordinators, he can't really settle in with one thing. I think that's what makes him great because he
Well,
had seamless
there's so
transition.
many different ways to win a football game. And what
Yeah.
the Eagles have done well over the years with Jalen Hurts is, first of
Hmm.
all, he's got that big kind of frame, like a Josh Allen, like a Ben Roethlisberger, that kind of build for a quarterback.
Yeah.
God-given ability, not the fastest, but fast enough.
Right.
Obviously the brotherly shove has been an incredibly successful play for a very long time.
He has good field vision.
Uh, he has
Let's
good field
mention that.
vision. But I think a big part of what has helped that Eagle engine and what also has hurt it is the coordinators. It depends because, when you lose Kellen Moore,
Yeah.
that was big. They've lost other coordinators over the years. We remember 23, which they started off great, and then they kind of flamed out.
Yeah, we all did.
Um, yeah. So it depends. I have a high opinion of their wide receiver coach. I don't like Nick Sirianni's personality, at least not for the media, but he's a pretty
Right.
good coach. However, that
Yeah.
won't save his ass because Philly has proven already that they will fire a Super Bowl winning coach. They did it with Doug Peterson.
Yeah. See how they did Andy Reid.
Yes, indeed. Andy Reid took them to 4 consecutive NFC title games. The fourth one capped off with a Super Bowl appearance. And he
Hmm.
ultimately, although he is the winningest coach in that franchise's history, he still managed to get canned.
Yeah.
So
And
things happen.
one bad season, they fired him. One bad season.
Daniel Nunez, we're actually talking about your team. We're about to turn the page.
Ooh,
But we
yeah.
were speaking on Jalen Hurts, our opinions, good and bad. We were keeping it pretty fair. And we got to Jalen Hurts speaking about CJ Stroud, talking about different colleges, what we
Yeah.
think about certain quarterbacks from certain programs. But we're going to be moving it along now to
Hmm.
a rumor here. And there are multiple teams linked to a potential. This just in, I already know this, but Bobby Okereke is officially going to be getting released. We already know this. We'll hit on him in a minute. Max
Right.
Crosby to the 49ers via trade. Now, of course, the Dallas Cowboys have been linked to him. There are others.
Yeah.
According to what I've read, Max Crosby's, the Raiders' asking price for Max Crosby would be 2 first-round picks and a current player on the roster. I'm going to tell you why I think the 49ers make the most sense.
Hmm.
Who played so well last year in the absence of Brock Purdy?
Hey, hey,
Mac Jones.
Mac Jones.
Right.
I love
2
saying that.
first and Mac Jones to the Vegas Raiders, possibly for Max Crosby. And that would pair Max Crosby with Nick Bosa. And I think that puts the 49ers back at the dinner table for best
However,
of the West because you
let me
got the
add,
Rams and the Seahawks as well, who are the world champions defending right now.
however, I've heard that Mac Jones is linked to Miami. I heard that today. Mac Jones is linked to going to Miami, being
Mac
traded.
Jones playing against the Pats again. That'd be interesting.
Why would it?
And this is
Yeah,
and this is a fun time because you
yeah.
have all these rumors. Daniel Nunez is spitting one here. Let's see what he has to say.
Hmm.
Eagles will lose Nolan Smith Jr. in that trade. If the and yes, you have to account for the Eagles. Howie
Yeah,
Roseman has always this time of the year made
yeah.
some things happen that people didn't think that could happen.
Howie's the
I
dude.
personally hope he goes to the Niners if it's going to be one of these teams that we mentioned because I would prefer to not have him in the division.
Yeah,
But
me too. Me too.
I will say this: the pairing of Bosa and he together, if it comes to fruition,
Oh my goodness.
it really does put the 49ers back because the
Man.
49ers are one of the most injured teams in the league. And Jordan Patrick, former namesake of the show, I saw him today.
Mhm.
We were chopping it up about the Niners.
Yeah.
He said something that was kind of interesting. And I didn't know this because I don't know the layout and the trajectory of that stadium in Santa Clara. One of my former chefs opened Levi Stadium. But what I heard is that there is like some kind of plant that's very close to the stadium, proximity of the stadium. And I don't know if Jordan is maybe reaching a little here, but it's worth the discussion that the injuries are up and certain things. And I don't know. I thought it was interesting because the numbers are kind of insane how the 49ers keep dropping.
True that. On both sides of the ball at that, you know? And it's not like it's like one or two players. You're talking like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 players.
Everybody, and I mean everybody. But um, this would be very interesting because when I thought, and I said this on a show about a month or so ago, that I thought Kyle Shanahan should have won Coach of the Year because he did so much with so little.
Yeah.
Um, and he did defeat the world champions, albeit it was week one. He did defeat my Super Bowl pick once, which is the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
And they hung around in the best division this past year in football, which was the NFC West. So if the 49ers grab him, most definitely, Max Crosby. It would be awesome. Now, Dallas,
Mm-hmm.
this is not me speaking. This is coming from Zappy. But
Mm-hmm.
Zappy told me that although Dallas did just franchise George Pickens, perhaps a trade involving Pickens. But my thing is, I wouldn't do that because I think you need as many good players as you possibly could have if Dallas is trying to go where they're going. So I
I
wouldn't
agree.
deal Pickens if I could help it. But you need to give away stuff to get stuff too. So it's definitely worth monitoring. What's your prediction? Where's Max Crosby going to get dealt? I'm going to put my name on this. I think he's going to be a 49er.
49er, man. 49er. I mean, I'm sure. And of course, nothing we say is, guaranteed, just opinion. But I'm thinking 49ers, man. With Dallas, and I'm not knocking Dallas, although y'all know I'm the biggest Dallas hater, bigger than Stephen A. Shit. That's what I call him. Um, yeah, Stephen A. Shit. I'm the biggest Dallas hater. You know, Jerry Jones said he's gonna spend more money than anybody. Da 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 da. He said this yesterday, and we know Jerry Jones, as he says, when shit gets slow, I stir shit up. And I'm taking that as what Jerry's doing. He's trying to make some buzz, da 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 da. And with Dallas, um, Crosby to Dallas would be huge. But
Yes, it
Dallas
would.
is still,
Yes,
Dallas is
it
still a
would.
circus, man. It's still a circus, man. And
Dallas's secondary is the thing that, if I'm a Cowboy fan, that worries me the most because I don't think their front seven did terrible, all things considered,
no,
injuries and all. And
right,
mind you, trading Micah Parsons.
right. It's the backfield. It's the defensive backfield. That's the back end. That's what they need to work on. Because I believe their front seven did pretty good. They were able to. They didn't able to stop the run fully, but they was able to slow the run down. That's been what's been killing the last 4 or 5 years.
We got
So I
Daniel
think.
Nunez here. Hang on. No,
Mhm.
no, go ahead, Idris. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, that
No,
was it. I'm just saying. So I don't think. I think Crosby, of course, is going to help because an impact player is an impact player. But
no
I
doubt.
think they need to pay more attention to the defensive backfield because they were getting we smoked them both games in the defensive back. We smoked them.
Well, I got two names for you right now with regard to the NFL draft.
Mm-hmm.
They could potentially trade up a bit. Mansour Delane out of LSU. That's also a player that I think our Giants should be paying attention to.
My LSU players
And
going down.
Avion Terrell, who is the younger brother of AJ Terrell of the Atlanta Falcons. He's also going to be in this draft. On my personal board, I think he's the fourth best corner in this draft.
Mm-hmm.
But once again, a guy worth taking a look at. I know on most mocks he's going in the top 20. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think he's the second or third best of the corners, but it's just my opinion. He may very well prove me wrong. I personally think Mansour Delane out of LSU, in my estimation, is the best corner in this draft. But
Me too. Me too.
it's draft season, and Nunez has one here. If they restructure contracts, they still won't have enough money to spend on any free agents this year. I think he was referring to Dallas because I did. Here we go.
Yeah.
And yeah, Nunez, that is correct.
You're
But
right.
there
Yep.
are
Exactly.
always ways to manipulate that.
Yeah.
It just depends on what a player is willing to do. I've seen it happen. But to your point, that is one of the reasons why I don't even have Dallas as getting him. I really do
Me.
think it's the 49ers. We shall see.
I think it is
I
too.
will say this, he's going to the NFC. It's very rare when you get superstar players like that where they don't get traded out of conference.
I
Um,
agree.
I
I
believe
agree.
he's going out of conference. I mean, of course, Micah Parsons to the Packers, that blew my mind. I was shocked that Dallas did that. They could have traded him to an AFC team.
Yeah, I was too. That blew my mind. I was like, whoa, damn. Like, whoa. I
Yeah,
said, well,
it was definitely interesting, but I do think that when Micah gets healthy, he actually is a nice little fit for the Packers.
yeah,
I
I
think,
agree.
and I don't think Dallas did that terrible on the trade. I know a lot of people were clowning on it, but
I don't
could they have
either.
done better? Yes, but I don't think they did terrible. And I also think that Dallas's new coordinator add-on is going to be beneficial for them going into the season. So we're going
Yeah,
to find
Dallas.
out.
Dallas did better than I expected. They look good this year. They really did.
They
Of
had
course,
ups and downs. I mean, you know, it's crazy to me because if you have a defense that just played a little better, they got the best
little,
kicker in professional football, in my opinion.
and they don't want to pay him.
Yeah,
They don't want to pay him.
yeah. And when Nunez is throwing up this, what he just did, it tells you why. But the thing is, in today's NFL, having such a good kicker is invaluable. We've seen contending teams go through 3 and 4 kickers in a year. Look at the Rams, bro. Look at the Niners. Look at the Packers.
Look
The
at the
Packers have
Giants.
been, I said contending teams.
Okay. I know I'll be facetious.
I'm talking past tense. I have an
Dude,
expectation for the New York Football Giants this year.
you contending for last place, dude. That's nah, I'm joking. Go ahead, man.
Nunez is already in football mode. Nunez is like, well, I'm going to take our little carpet ride with the Dodgers, get my third World Series, and then it's football time. And yes, Nunez, I am picking the Dodgers to win the World Series. Of course, I'm going to do an in-depth NL West preview, which you're of course invited to. I'll give you the deets moving forward, but my prediction is Dodgers and Yankees. But I unfortunately think the Dodgers are going to beat us again. If it's not the Yankees, I think it's Seattle. Seattle Yankees is my ALCS preview. Getting back to football,
Mhm.
MetLife Murray, maybe.
I believe.
It would be a
Hey, the
very
thing about
jet-like thing to do.
but the Jets, they have a lot of cap space, man. But I don't think they'll do it. I think what they should do, now I had seen this on Fox on First Things First. It made a lot of sense. Um, I think they should bring in a veteran. I mean, Kyler Murray is good, but I think they need to bring in a veteran who can actually be a crossover, can be a bridge, like somebody like a Kirk Cousins, someone who's serviceable, who's been there, who's done it. That I bring him in because you got 2 first-round draft picks, and because this draft right here, quarterback is not. This is not a good draft for quarterback. So
No, I
I
tend to
think,
agree. I love the heart of
mhm,
Fernando Mendoza,
yeah,
but just based on that metric and what he's overcome, I'm going to
mhm,
give the kid an honest chance. But outside
yeah,
of him, Nussmeyer, no.
no,
There
I'm, no, 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 no,
isn't the kid from Penn State going to be declaring too. Drew Alar, I believe is his name, right? No,
yep, he's coming. Nope,
no. Um, yeah, I'm not overly impressed. Trinidad Chambliss, no. Uh,
nah,
yeah, I'm not
quarterback,
impressed with these quarterbacks.
nah. And with Nussmeier, as an LSU fan as I am, and shout out to my girl Samika Jenkins. She's down in Louisiana. We're big uh, Tiger fans, and we've said since Nussmeier been there, this is not the guy. He is not the guy. I say Nussmeier is a second round, third round pick at the. I say he's a low second, high third at best. He is not the guy.
Eagles might draft a running back from Penn State. Wouldn't shock me. Wouldn't shock me. I think the G-men, if they do draft a running back,
Mm-hmm.
possibly Harvey out of UTSA,
Yes,
but
sir.
I
Yeah.
don't think it's going to go down that way. I think the New York Giants are potentially going to try to get a veteran running back. Now, I know that Kenneth Walker's name has been mentioned. Surprisingly, the Seattle Seahawks are choosing not to franchise him.
Right. That's
I have a
surprising.
feeling the Giants are going to go the veteran route here, and it's doable. But if the Giants were to bring in a guy like a Walker,
Hmm.
I think it signals the end for Wandell Robinson for sure, and possibly even Jermaine Illuminor. There are alternative options in this draft for offensive tackles that could start right away and play at the level of a veteran. But I
Hmm.
think it's got to be a priority for the New York Giants to keep Jermaine Illuminor.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
And
We
Nunez
need.
is also saying Goddard not to return. Yeah, I expect that. Goddard's best is behind him for sure. I see that. And
Is that
speaking of best
exactly?
behind them, I'm going to tell you where I think Murray could go real quick. Then we'll hit on Okereke's release.
Okay.
Kyler Murray naturally could make sense in Pittsburgh because he could give you more longevity than what Aaron Rodgers did. But you have Aaron Rodgers' former head coach, who he won a Super Bowl with, Mike McCarthy. I
Yeah.
don't think it's out of the question to bring Murray in, despite having maybe Rodgers back as well, and
Hmm.
let them compete.
Don't compete.
This won't be the first time the Pittsburgh Steelers brought in two veteran quarterbacks at the same time.
They just did it
Two
2 years
guys
ago.
that all they did was start. They did it with Fields and Wilson just a couple of years ago.
Did it? Yeah. I agree with that. I agree with that. I say Murray. Murray has matured because there was a point where he was just so
What, he
immature.
leveled up? He leveled up in Call of Duty, or what did he do?
I think he did, man. He might have won. Fine, he might have finished the game. Who
Yeah,
knows?
I think he beat Noah recently. But anyway, so what
Well,
happened?
might have beat me. I don't know. I'm just guessing.
I'll just I'm just playing with you. No. That's been the word. That's been the word that he has. But they were riding the Jacoby Brissett train, or at least fantasy owners were. They kept losing ball games. Jacoby Brissett, no knock on the guy, but a lot of that was smoke and mirrors with being down by so many points. Chucking the ball 40 times a game.
Yeah,
Brissett is a gamer, but definitely not a starter. Um,
he's what he is. He's what he is. A backup.
I think he's going to the Jets. My personal opinion, because
I,
I'm not going to get into the lingo of why. I just think it's the most Jet shit to do.
oh yeah, it's just like the Mets. The Mets and the Jets. They're the
I
same.
am
They're good.
discriminatory to short quarterbacks. There's only a
Me too.
few in league history that have truly done it. Nobody better than Drew Brees. And then in between there, I would say a guy like a Doug Flutie who had some serious magic, and Russell Wilson.
I'm gonna go
Russell
with
Wilson
Fran.
is not a big guy.
Fran Tarkenton
Yeah,
is another one.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Bobby
I'm not.
Murray is little. He is a
Murray's
little
little.
dude.
Murray's little. Yeah, I'm with you on that, man. I'm just not. I'm just not into the short quarterbacks. I know they can do what they do, but
Holly, what's
durability.
up? How you doing?
Look at Michael Vick. Mike Vick, good quarterback, did his thing, but when you're going against the big guys and they're hitting you, and da da da, you wear down quick. It's just not a good thing. So I could see him going to the Jets. I think he may go to Pittsburgh and compete, but it wouldn't surprise me with the Jets because the Jets are going to jet.
Nunez thinks that he's going to Vegas. I disagree respectfully with Nunez because I think the Raiders are drafting Fernando Mendoza. Now, I mean, you bring in a guy like Murray, that's going to be X amount of years. Mendoza's
Tom
not going to
Brady.
sit on a rookie deal that long. If the
Tom Brady's
Raiders
not.
were to bring in anybody that's a veteran,
Mhm.
uh, I mean, let's see. Maybe a Kirk Cousins because it's more of a short term kind of snitch, but I don't think Cousins would go to Vegas. I think Cousins really is hoping that
Mhm.
the Minnesota Vikings grab the phone. But what could mess that up is Cousins views himself as a starter and only a starter, whereas the Vikings may lean on McCarthy in the beginning, but there is an injury history there. I don't know why it's so frustratingly weird. Now I have a player rather that I think could go to Minnesota.
Mhm.
You mentioned him earlier. AR-15 and Idris, hit us with some Colts news because I know that the current Colts quarterback also has some news.
Yes, Daniel Jones signed the transition tag. If people don't know the transition tag, it's similar to the franchise tag. Just a little less money. It's just saying with the transition tag, he can sign with another team in Indianapolis has to match it, or they can match it and he'll get more money. They want to keep him. We all know that. Um, Anthony Richardson, the Colts gave him permission to seek a trade, and basically they're saying, look, we don't need you here. You go find your own job. We're done with you. And I was saying, I mean, that's basically what they're saying. Yeah, go look for another
No, no,
job.
but the way you say it was just funny.
I mean, hey, that's what they say. Go look for another job, man. You fired. And my opinion, Anthony Richardson, and I know my black community going to say, "Oh man, you hate." No, look, I said when Anthony Richardson came out of Florida, I said he is not a starter in the NFL. He's a backup.
Mm-mm.
I said he looked okay in college. He played in that, Florida. No, he's a backup. I said he is a backup. I gave him like a 75. He's a backup. He's big. He's strong. He got a strong arm, but he does not see the field. He's a
AR-15 is
backup.
going to be wearing purple next year. It's going to be the Minnesota Vikings.
I don't think they'll grab him. I don't think they'll. I don't think they'll because he needs a lot of development.
I also didn't think they would either. However,
The Jets
after
might grab him.
watching,
The Jets are going to jet, dude.
that would really be jet-like. But after looking at a clip of
Mm-hmm.
current Vikings coach Kevin O'Connell
Mm-hmm.
talking up Anthony Richardson,
Mm-hmm.
it not gonna front. It looked like tampering. It was kind of comical actually.
Yeah.
And if anybody in this league can turn
Mm-hmm.
that kid around, I'm gonna give you two names: Kyle Shanahan,
Yeah.
who's not gonna be in the mix for this, Kevin O'Connell, because they were the
Yeah.
two guys that
Oh,
nurtured and rebuilt Sam Darnold, who
you're right.
is the man who won the Super Bowl this year.
I mean,
Hey,
I can see
put that in
that.
your pipe and smoke it, New York Jets.
Right. You know what? When you say that, I can. Yeah, I can see that though. You said you are right because Sam Darnold went to Minnesota and he became a star. And Kyle Shanahan, we see what he did to Sam Darnold there. He got Sam Darnold moving.
Yeah, this is
You know,
not a Trent Dilfer situation. I mean, granted, in the Super Bowl, the New England Patriots did a phenomenal job of making life hard for him. Not as hard as the Seattle defense made life hard for Drake May, but the
oh,
difference between Darnold and May in that game, Darnold was
mhm.
able to get out of trouble and extend plays a little bit more, which I was actually surprised about because I thought May would have been the guy that would have been able to do that a little easier.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
But that's where
Um,
experience comes in.
but now that you said that about Minnesota, I can roll with that. I can roll with that. He has to be willing to want to learn again because
I'm
he's
thinking to
kind of had
myself, who else would make sense? Uh, um,
I know it wouldn't be the Raiders because Tom Brady. That's why I don't think because Brady's not going to take in. Brady's in that ownership in LA. I mean in
yeah,
Vegas.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That ain't happening.
Yeah, like if anyone, I think he would bring someone like Cousins in. Because Cousins is a veteran. He got that leadership. And Brady's going to want somebody who's going to be a leader in the box.
Daniel
You know,
Nunez. Sorry to interrupt you, Idris. I'm just gonna
no, no,
jump this in
no,
real
no,
quick.
no, no.
Is this popping on stage? For some
What's that?
reason, my comments getting
Yeah,
froze here. I'm just gonna. Oh, there we go. Okay, hold
yeah,
on.
yeah, they're coming up.
There we go. Do you all think the Chicago Bears will be moving to Indiana? Yes, Nunez. It's only a matter of time because, unfortunately, the iconic Soldier Field,
Whew.
just given the age of the facility, they cannot really make it more modern for today's NFL experience without
Right.
literally moving. It's unfortunate. There's other variables here too, but they're still going to be called the Chicago Bears. I mean, why not? The Giants
Oh,
play
oh, let me add.
close enough to Manhattan, and the Cowboys play close enough to Dallas, and the 49ers play close enough to Frisco. This is nothing new.
Chicago also will need a center because Drew Dalman retired today. 6 years in the league, one of the best centers in the league. He retired today, 27 years old.
Now, let me ask you, Idris, is it official that the Ravens are going to be adding years to Linderbaum, or is he going to hit the market? Because that would be my top choice for the Bears if
I
he
think
hits the
I,
market.
I think he's going to hit the market. I think he's going
We're
to.
going to,
I think with the Harbaugh thing, I think that changed a lot in Baltimore. I mean, I don't know, but I think he'll hit the market. I think
yeah,
Baltimore is probably
it's a massive loss. And I don't necessarily think that Lamar Jackson's feeling it because not everybody gets along or not everybody's their dude. And while I
Right.
do think there's a mutual respect between MVP, former MVP Lamar Jackson, and
Mhm.
Coach Harbaugh, I think Lamar is very much looking to the future, as is Coach Harbaugh. I think there were certain quirks about each other that they just didn't get over, but they did keep it professional. So shouts out to both of them for doing that much.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I
So
like both of them. I
I
do,
do too.
but I tend to favor Harbaugh
Mhm.
for the reasons of the scrutiny of Lamar, because there are certain quirks that would drive a coach of Harbaugh's age crazy. In some ways, it's similar to the last great Giant coach, Tom Coughlin.
Mhm. I'm coughing. Yep. No, I'm with you, man. 100%. Yeah, we'll see.
Oh,
But I think Lyndon. I think he'll hit the market. I think he'll hit the market.
well, that's my prediction for where Linderbaum goes. Now, of course, the New York Giants will naturally be mentioned, but
Hmm.
no, I think Linderbaum will end up in Chicago,
Yeah.
and
They.
I think the Giants are going to try to get it with JMS. You know, he
Yeah.
significantly improved in last year's second half, as did the O
Mm.
line on the whole. Giants offensive line finished rather high last year considering previous years. So the O line for the first time in a long time, not my biggest concern, but I do want to speak on something that is.
Mhm.
Bobby Okereke will be released by the New York Giants.
Yeah. I think that's good. He's been a disappointment. Let's keep it real. I
He
expected
had
a
one
lot
good
of
year.
one
His
good year.
first year was a good one under
Yeah.
Wink
So
Martindale.
yeah. So I can see that. And we're so. I mean, uh, yeah. He was expendable, and I don't like to use that expendable word, but I mean he's expendable. Um. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's time to move on. I think it's time to move
Well,
on.
at 5 and at 7, Commanders at 7, Giants at 5. They both need a linebacker.
Hmm.
Giants get the first crack at it. Uh, Now I'm assuming that he drops to 5. I think he might, given team needs.
Hmm.
I believe Sonny Styles. I'm going to say an 80% chance, as long as the Giants don't trade back, will be a New York Giant.
Hopefully, I would love Sunny Styles, man. That'd
But
be
I will
dope.
say this: the alternative wouldn't make me upset either, because the top three linebackers in this class are all dogs.
Yeah.
Assuming that the Giants go that route, and it'll be the first time that they take a linebacker in round one since
Then
Carl Banks in
they
1984, bro.
exactly. I was going to say that. I said, say the year, say the year. We're talking 50 years almost. 40, what,
And what
42?
is the giveaway that the Giants right now are favoring that linebacker position? Hello, right here. Okereke. Not to mention Okereke is making too much money, and he wouldn't be a
Yeah,
Giant next year anyway.
right, exactly. Yeah, he's
New
making money.
regime, you're going to be
Yeah.
bringing in different talent.
And knowing Harbaugh, because we see what type of teams he builds. We've seen that. So it wouldn't be surprised me that that's who comes off the board first. It wouldn't surprise me.
Okereke played hard. I'll give him that. But I'm going to
Yeah,
say this.
he didn't play up to
I
the
try
money.
not to stand out at one play, but when I was like just done with Bobby Okereke
Yeah.
was when he recovered that fumble against the Kansas City Chiefs and then
Oh,
Patrick Mahomes stripped it away like a basketball player. I was like, is this real? Is this
that was
real?
horrible.
That
That was
was bad,
horrible.
bro. That looked like one of those Madden plays where you hit stick somebody, except it wasn't a hit stick. It was just Patrick Mahomes just
It's
being the smart. He is a smart guy. Patrick
it's
Mahomes is one of the smartest football players in the league.
it's like when you play the Benny Hill song.
Yeah, that was wild, bro. Straight up looking like NFL blitz. Like I was, bro. When that happened, bro, I just had the remote in my hand. I'm like, I'm
Dude, I
so
about
close to turning this shit off.
I got ready to flip over my kitchen table, dude. I said, what?
Because what
What are you
got me so angry with that particular game was that the Chiefs were doing everything to lose, and the Giants were like, nah, we're good.
They were giving it to us. Yes, they
Yeah.
were giving us the game.
And it would have looked a lot more sexy if the Giants won back then, because that was before everybody realized the Chiefs were just not that good this year.
Yeah. That's what it was, man. I like
Horrible.
Benny Hill. Yeah, very.
Idris, what else you got? I think I'm done on my key points for the evening on some of these positions.
All right,
Oh, Caleb Downs.
beat
Last
him
thing,
down.
buddy. My bad.
Are you
That's
good?
another reason why the Giants strongly could go linebacker or offensive tackle at 5, assuming they stay there, because Caleb Downs, I believe, could have been their first choice. But there is reports of a meniscus tear. They don't think it's going to be damaging in terms of his rookie year. However, his stock should drop some.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I
Top
agree.
safety in the
Oh,
draft coming in, but this is unfortunate. McNeil,
yeah. Also,
yeah, go ahead.
mhm. Yeah. Also, Brees Hall, franchise tag, New York Jets. Like I said, they just have two first rounders, two second rounders. You franchise him, keep him there, negotiate the contract during the season. See what we can get covered. I think that's a good move for them. They need Brees Hall. They can't afford him to hit free agent or get to where like, oh, these guys don't want me here and they need me here.
Right, right.
Um, so actually, the Jets didn't jet on that one. They actually, they actually did the
uh,
right thing on that one.
yeah, when you think about bright spots with the Jets, obviously Garrett Wilson. Do you think Garrett Wilson finishes the year as a New York Jet, or is he going to be a trade deadline candidate?
Dang,
I guess it depends on what kind of year they're having, right?
I think it depends on what type of year they have because that's a good one there. You man, you hit me in the back of the head with that one. 'Cause, that's a good one. I think it depends on the year. If they start looking like the Jets, I think he'll be gone. If they look like okay, these guys are competing, and I don't see really a big jump of the Jets this year because again they need a quarterback.
Yes, they do.
So I think this is another. Well, they've been transitioning since Rex Ryan left. So I guess
Ain't that something? Ain't that something?
so I think this is another year to in transition rebuild. They've been rebuilding for 20 years. I think this is just another rebuild year.
Hot take
Um,
right now. Aaron Glenn will be the first coach fired in this new season.
you know what? I'm gonna put some fire to that, make it even hotter. I agree. I think
And
if
I
the Jets,
like Aaron Glenn, but he's just in over his head. And I'm not going to blame him completely for this because I think the Jets are just that dysfunctional, and I can't stand Woody Johnson.
I think with Aaron Glenn, yeah, I can't stand what he does. I think with Aaron Glenn, his problem is he talked about accountability, but he never held himself accountable. He always blamed everyone else and did this and did that.
Yeah, I do find that a little odd for somebody so green, no pun intended. Nunez, in case you stepped away, yes, we literally just said that. Or maybe I'm
Yeah,
reading this slightly old. But yes, Brees Hall is going to be getting tagged. And
yeah.
yeah, I mean, I've been doing my fair share of mock drafts, and let me share this with you here.
Get my
Now,
glasses on.
Idris,
Get my glasses on right quick. I hate to
yeah,
sound like an old man, but
before we started the show, I showed this to Idris, and I was like, "Bro, I can't see it, and it's on my phone." And he's like, "Oh, I can see it on the screen." I'm like, "Ain't that a bitch?"
oh
Because
shoot,
I've been
man, I
doing.
can't open my
Here we
screen
go.
now.
Here we go. Here we go.
I can't open my screen, man. I can't see it now. Oh shit.
Okay,
I
here we
can't
go.
open. Can you see it? I can't open my screen, dude.
That's
My,
hilarious,
my screen literally froze. I knew I should have been on my laptop.
folks.
Uh,
This is my New York Giants draft. I traded multiple times here to kind of fill every possible team need. I do these daily just to kind of see the trends that are
mhm,
going down. But Sonny Styles at 5, I got, in my opinion, the second best safety in this
mhm.
draft at with my second pick. A short receiver, only 5'9", out of Kentucky. However, I do like some of his measurables in terms of rack yardage. J.C.
Wandale
Davis,
still.
Illinois, not my first pick. However,
Mhm.
he was available. I want corner, at 118, once again, not my first pick, but he was available. Fernando Carmona, definitely a guy that I'm a fan of. Dan Villari out of the Cuse. This is a guy that I think has the potential to put up a similar output to a Brock Bowers. The tight end
Yeah.
position just keeps evolving. And it seems like every year we keep getting guys that are capable of doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, my final pick at Alabama, I think it's a rotational piece. That was more of a reach of anything. I personally think the New York Giants are going to be bringing in a veteran to join Cam Scatabo and Tyrone Tracy. If they're not able to bring in Kenneth Walker, who I actually think they have a shot at, my next one up would be potentially ATN of the Jaguars. Those are the two guys that I think the Giants are looking at personally, and we'll see if that comes to fruition.
I will take ATN. Ooh,
Oh, I'd take
yeah,
either one of them, but I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I want Walker,
I like Walker because Walker can bang.
and I think there's a buzz around the Giants now where people are actually, looking at the organization differently.
I agree too. You know why?
So we'll
Because
see.
we actually brought in a coach, a winning coach, who's had a winning culture, who's hard nosed, who doesn't play.
15 winning seasons out of 18 years, and he has never won less than 8 games.
Right? I think that's the reason why. And like I said, his and people, with the press conference, it can be. We all know that the coach wants to say what everyone wants to hear. But in the case of Harbaugh, or as I call him, Harbaughs, in the case of Harbaugh, I seen something different that I didn't see from the other coaches. I seen a guy who said, "I like our quarterback." I seen a guy who pointed out our leader, Jameis Winston. Like, yo, Jameis Winston.
This is a guy that was scoping out this opportunity long before he was fired.
Yeah, exactly.
And when he flat out had that shit eating grin, just gleaming with joy, talking
Yeah,
about his father, talking to him about what the Giants were,
yep,
and also just flat out saying, "Hey, so you guys heard I really wanted this job, right?" It was a
right.
great way to introduce yourself to one of the toughest media markets in the world. I don't think this moment or this scene is going to be too big for Coach Harbaugh. There is
Oh,
going to come some trials and tribs, and we may not see results in year one.
right.
But I'm on the optimistic tip that I think this New York Giants team is going to be close to a playoff team this year, if not possibly breaking into the top 7.
What I see him doing is bringing the fight back into the team.
Another thing that I like, most of
Hmm.
his main positional staff guys
Yeah.
have some form of head coaching experience. And that is
Hmm.
that is huge.
Like people talk about Matt Nagy. He might have had a bad. I think in Chicago, I think he had a bad rap. He had a bad quarterback. I think, but the guy's a good offensive coordinator.
Yeah, it wasn't my first choice. I'll make that
That
clear.
wasn't mine. Wasn't mine either. Wasn't mine
I honestly wanted Davis Webb.
either.
But
Young guy. Yeah.
having said that, I'm not disappointed with this.
Yeah. I didn't want Nagy either. I really didn't. But I think about how he's been as an offensive coordinator. He's been a good offensive coordinator. And I said, you know what? It's the coach we have, and the coach is going to make sure things are right. This guy's reporting directly to the owner, so he's going to do his thing. He's going to make sure. Look, you need to be on your game, bro.
The only thing that I'm disappointed about in this Harbaugh regime early,
Hmm.
but I'm going to be patient and optimistic, it was the dismissal of offensive line coach Carmen Burchillo. But having said that, if you look at the Baltimore Ravens history with Harbaugh, they've never had an issue with the O line.
Nope.
So I am not overly concerned because of that. I wish Coach Burchillo well. He did a damn good job.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, when you are starting a new regime, guys are very tedious and specific about why they bring in guys. And
Right.
you
They
can
had
you can win at the point of attack in a lot of different ways, but there's a lot of schematics that go into blocking.
right because they have their own system. They have their own way of the running back running the ball and everything else. So you bring in your own guy. But yeah, he did a great job. He got that O line looking like we hadn't in what 13, 14 years or
Now I
more.
will
And
say
so
this, Idris,
mhm,
Coach Harbaugh loves running backs. We know this.
Yep, yep.
So
That
I
was one of them.
cannot completely discount the possibility that although a
Mhm,
lot of people will pull their hair out and say it's not a value pick,
mhm.
Jeremiah Love, out of my favorite collegiate team, Notre Dame Fighting Irish, I cannot
Uh,
just write off the possibility. As Mike Zappi said, in this
mhm,
particular draft class, he's
mhm.
Mr. Do It All. And when you consider that Cam Scatterbo, has ambitions of having a longer NFL career, the
Yeah.
compliment that those two guys could bring to each other could be
Oh,
similar to what just got broken up in Detroit with Sonic and Knuckles. I'm not saying they're going to go that way, but
wow.
it wouldn't blow my mind. But
That
once
would.
again, at 5, people might get pissed off when you need a safety, you need a corner, you always need linemen,
Yeah.
but it's it would be interesting because I love Scat, but I think the best situation for Scat is to have another premier guy next to him because
Yeah.
and the beauty of it, you get a guy like Jeremiah Love, you got both of them under rookie control
Right on. Right on.
because I think the Kansas City Chiefs could be a candidate to trade up to make sure they get him. I mean,
Hmm.
shit. Although the Commanders need a lot of different stuff, I wouldn't be shocked if the Commanders go that route. And
You
that's
wouldn't
the
be
and
surprised.
that's the price of being in the draft. If
Yeah.
you don't take him, he might end up in Landover.
Possibly. I agree. Possibly. Yeah. This draft right here coming up is going to be interesting because, like I said, we don't need a quarterback, and we're sitting at 5, which is
Isn't it
great.
such a beautiful feeling to finally say that? And we don't need a backup either.
We don't need a backup either. Well, last time we said that, it's been a
Oh my.
long time.
You
Because
gotta.
Eli.
Last time I can honestly say that not only did I feel great about my starter, but I also felt great about my backup. You got to
Mhm.
go back to Eli Manning and Derek Carr.
That's what I was going to say. Eli.
David Carr, excuse me. David Carr.
David Clark, yeah, that's the last time. Especially with but we got our O line set. Of course, we can always improve and get some depth. Of course, you can never have too many good linemen,
The
offensive linemen.
Illuminor situation is going to dictate a lot on how early the Giants go offensive tackle in this draft. If we lose Illuminor, I mean,
Yeah,
of course, you could bring in another veteran that's comparable to Illuminor. There's a lot of
yeah,
ways to build this right.
yeah.
But
I agree.
there's a lot of
Yep.
good linemen in this draft. I mean,
So,
shoot, one of my favorites, Ryan Malman out of Wisconsin, in most mock drafts, is going anywhere between the final 10 to Mr. Irrelevant. And this is a player that I really like, mind you.
and you
So
know
that
what?
just speaks volumes on how many linemen are in this draft.
With Wisconsin, if you're gonna say I need an offensive lineman from Wisconsin, I mean I need an offensive lineman. I'm going to Wisconsin. 'Cause
Well,
those some big.
definitely one of the schools that has always turned out a good ratio of successful offensive
Mhm.
linemen. But
And you know
like
what?
anything else, the Giants
Yeah.
got to be a little traumatized with how many strikeouts they've had.
And I want my white family not to take this personal. But this is what I say about linemen. If you want somebody big and strong, go to a predominantly white school, Wisconsin, because you got them big, the big strong white boys. And it's not a put down. This is a shout out to you white guys who put in that work. We in the black community, yo, that's a big old white boy. And when we say that to you,
Yeah.
we're saying you are very intimidating. So don't take it as though it's actually a compliment. A compliment. We're like, that's a big old white boy. That
No,
means
no, it's
it,
funny because like
it's like
I've
Kansas in
I've
basketball.
been approaching the mocks in so many different ways.
It's
So
like it's like Kansas in
that would be a
basketball.
scenario where the Giants go literally all the way at the end and get an offensive lineman because I think I picked him up with pick 192, if I'm not mistaken. In other mocks, I've seen other teams pick him at the final pick. And this is a
Wow.
guy that I've seen play often, and I'm like, I like this guy's game. He does draw some penalties, but he's a
Yeah, yeah,
mauler.
yeah. And see,
He's a literal mauler.
that could be fixed with the right
Yeah,
with the
maybe could
right.
be fixed.
That could be fixed. That could be fixed. He's physical. He's physical. He's gonna throw you around. He's physical. And see, that's what you need. So he could be fixed. And he, yeah, he's somebody you can pick very low and say, this guy right here, he might have
Nunez, I'm
got it.
actually with you on that. Kenyon Sadiq, I can see that, especially with the incoming departure
Yeah.
of Dallas Goddard, but there's also some good value of tight ends mid rounds. You could go Notre Dame, Eli Raridon. You could even wait a little later and go get Valari out of Syracuse. But yes,
That's how
I will
they-
say this much, Nunez. The Eagles will definitely be drafting a tight end in this draft. Idris, anything else on the mind before we get out of here?
I think we got it covered, but y'all prepared because we got March Madness coming up soon, and we got some baseball coming, baby. That's all I
Yes, I
got to say.
cannot wait. I cannot wait
Oh,
for
I
opening
do got one
day.
thing. I do got
Go
one
ahead.
thing to say. Cam Ward. Cam Ward may break that mold of Miami quarterbacks who just didn't do well in the NFL or Florida quarterback. Cam Ward this season, he didn't have a great season, but he got progressed. He progressed slowly but surely. And the one thing I like about Cam Ward that I've seen that I didn't see in Shador, no, Shador, oh, you hate on Shador. No, the one thing I've seen in Cam Ward that I didn't see out of a lot of people, the boy has leadership and he doesn't quit. He wants to win. Kellen Moore, I was skeptical about him going to New Orleans and doing something, but you know
He
what?
did a good job there.
Yeah, watch out for him and Tyler Shuck. I think he, I think, I think New Orleans made the right choice with him, and he's young. Remember, Kellen Moore. It's not been too long ago that he played in the NFL for Detroit.
Even if you're talking about, even if you're talking about their selection at the quarterback position,
Yeah,
in a if he didn't have the laundry list of injuries that he had,
yeah,
talking about Chuck, he may
yeah,
have very well been the first quarterback to go
yeah.
because
I
he
know.
had the because I'll be real with you. If you look at what he did in college, in a
Yeah,
lot of aspects, he looked a little more sexy than Shador, and he looked a
he
little
did.
more sexy than Dart.
He did. He did. And that's what I'm saying about Shuck. I thought we were going to draft him. I had him coming to the. I had him coming to the. I was like, we're going to draft him. We're going to
Shout out
draft him.
T&D Sports and Entertainment, giving you
Yeah,
guys a shout. A lot of Saints fans in there. Shouts out
there you
to our
go.
guy Book.
Book, big time. Yep, big
Yeah,
time.
I don't know if you're a part of that page. If not, I definitely got to make sure
Yeah,
you are at Show's
yeah.
End.
I think you added me back. But check anyway. I think you added me back. Yeah, me. That's one thing. Me and Book got a comment. He's LSU. I'm LSU. Tigers all day. Go Tigers. Go Tigers, baby.
All
I
right.
took it.
Until next time, he is Idris. I am Richie. If you haven't already, please make it a point. Like and subscribe to the channel, the Richie Hicks
Wait
Jr.
a minute.
Sports Podcast on YouTube. Also, make it a point to check out this man, Idris Salam, Big Bosco Productions, Old Man Energy, Volume 1, Volume 2. Volume
Thank you.
2, Jazzmatical. If you like jazz, check it out. If you like
Thank you.
creativity, check it out. Now, back
Thank you.
to the first album.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, I was born in the 80s. I grew up in the 90s. I am a fan of boom bap era hip hop. I love it all, but that is my root of my hip hop love. If you love lyricism to the absolute fullest, if you love just cold ass beats, if you just love the genre and what the boom bap era means, put your ears on top of Old Man Energy Volume 1, Big Bosco Productions. I ain't saying
Appreciate
it
it.
because he's my brother. I'm saying it because it's the goddamn truth. Hell of an album.
Appreciate it. Before we go, I got one thing to say. How is a guy from California who roots for the Eagles is also a Duke Blue Devil fan?
I know why he's an Eagle fan. That is attributed to a
Oh yeah,
family situation. That I do know.
yeah, me too. That yeah. But I don't know about the Duke thing.
Um, this is the thing, right? I always
So
thought
I'm,
it was a
I'm just
little, I always thought
I'm
it
just
was a little strange for some fans when they're
yeah,
all over the place when it comes to college. Like, oh, they're my college football team, but they're my college basketball team. I'm a
yeah.
Notre Dame Fighting Irish football fan. Now,
Mhm.
I'm smart enough to know that Notre Dame basketball will never win a national title in my lifetime, or at least not the men. The women are good, but I claimed Notre Dame at the earliest of ages thanks to two players, Rocket Ismail and Rick Meyer. So I've just stuck it out with them since day one. So
How about
when it comes to collegiate, I'll rock with them as well. Now, St.
yeah,
John's. I got love for them.
Yeah.
They're close. They're a Queens team.
Yes, sir.
I got love for the Cuse to a level. Now, granted, they're Big East rivals,
Yeah.
but Notre Dame has always been the most identifiable team with me collegiately because my favorite sport is football.
Yeah.
And, you know, there was no powerhouse close to home, so to speak, when I was coming up. And the TV deal, NBC, of course, we know they've
Yeah.
always been my squad, but I've always kept it a buck. I don't
Yeah.
care who they're playing on in basketball. I'm rooting for Notre Dame, and I actually take it serious being a fan, even though I know the limitations of it.
Yeah, I'm taking a shot at Nunez.
No, I'm never gonna fault you for that.
It's an Eagles. It's an Eagles
I'm
thing.
still aggravated about the World Series 2 years ago. I
Oh
started
yeah.
messing with Nunez, and I was like, "Hey, you saw that guy that caught the Torres homer? That was Nunez."
Oh, for
It was
real?
not a no, it wasn't. I'm just messing.
Oh, I was like, oh shit.
But but just like 2 years ago, I got them
Yeah.
then, and I got you now. But to be fair, after
Yeah.
after repeatedly watching that replay, it was not a home run. But I was still pissed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Game of
Nah, hey,
inches, and the Dodgers have always been on the right inch.
Nunez, I'm busting your chops, man, because you're an Eagles fan. I got to take a shot at you, bro.
And Nunez, by all means, feel free to take a shot back because you could be like, "Well, your cousin coaches with them."
Yeah, hey, don't do it, Nunez. Don't do that. And leave family out of it.
I'm over here stirring the pot. I got no dog in this race. Until next time, he is Idris. I am Richie. Thanks for tuning in. We
Cold
are
blood.
out.